Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, exhibitionists of all ages. Welcome to the 30th episode of the Raw Cuts Gaming Podcast.
Woo!
Yeah!
Ooh. We'll comment on that later. I'm your host tonight, Big D, a.k.a. The Naked Gamer, a.k.a. I don't know. There's another one in there. I'm joined tonight by our lovely co-host, CJ, a.k.a. The Solo Gamer. And Woods, a.k.a. The Mav, a.k.a. someone getting ready to touch someone without asking.
AKA straight out of the trailer park.
He's going straight Julian.
There you go!
What's this? AKA Julian from Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, yes.
So everyone hop on YouTube and come check this shit out. This is pretty great.
Now, Woods, what are you drinking there, Woodsy?
It's true. What is in your cup tonight? Do you have rum and coke just like Julian does or not?
This would be rum and coke. That is correct.
I like it. I fucking love that
There's
show.
only one way to do it.
Of course.
Oh, man, I love that show, man.
No, this is actually a result of a fairly funny accident that happened earlier today.
A shaving accident?
Well, I was getting ready to hop into the shower, so I wanted to trim up the beard and all that other stuff. And Julia came in and she was like, "Daddy, I'm ready for bath." And she was naked. And I'm like, "Okay, sweetie." And I'm just trimming up the beard, finishing up, the sides. And all of a sudden, she goes, "Daddy, I pooped." And I looked over and round. And I was like, "Well."
You did the too quick turn.
I was I guess it's going to be a goatee today. And so I went full Julian with it.
I love it, man. I
I
love it.
like it too.
You
It
even
suits
found a
you.
black shirt.
Yeah. I turned one of my Milwaukee Bucks shirt inside out.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we thank you, the listener, for tuning in to our super rare takes on everything video games and gaming. As always, we bring you our own unique takes while recording and publishing our episodes edit-free, because that's the way we like to do it. We'll be bringing you our podcast via all the listening staples every Tuesday. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker Podcast, Radio Public, and Anchor. And for whatever reason, if you'd like to watch us live, join us on YouTube, please. Other than Ryan. So fucking sick of that guy. This week's topics. We're going to get into what we're playing. Lots of news this week. Lots of shit dropped over the last 2 days. Thank God, because that game last night was just the fucking worst. And then no trophy time this week. No smoking. It's about negative 15 here, by the way. The smoker is working overtime.
It's a lot colder up in Nova Scotia, don't you know?
Oh, man. All right. So I guess we'll just get right into it. Woodsy, what you been playing?
Well, I've been playing a few of the games. Let's see here. Little Ghost of Tsushima, some Hitman, Crash Team Racing. We did do a live stream this week. We're gonna get back into that. Promise you.
We can do it tonight. You want to play tonight?
We could do that, yeah. Played Katamari Damacy Reroll because I bought that. Didn't want to just sit on the pile of shame.
What the fuck is that game?
It's a weird fucking game, bro. You're like this little guy, and you basically just you start in this room on like a table, right? And there's all these there's matches and paper clips, and you roll up and you continually get the ball bigger and bigger and bigger until you're eventually rolling up buildings and oil tankers and whales and shit.
Oh my
God. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But it's got a weird gameplay challenge to it. So
Okay.
it was a PS2 game that got remixed, or remastered. And then been playing Destruction All Stars as well, which we can talk about for a little bit. I'll just skip through mine and get to yours because we can talk about it under your games you've been playing. But I also played some Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Is that the newest one, or is that an older
Yeah,
one?
the one we all got, the one we all just got. So it's actually it's fun. It's it's as big as the first one was. Some of the stuff I like a little bit more about the first one. The first world felt more alive, and this one may get better, but it's just a lot of empty space. A lot of empty space.
Where does this one take place again?
There's not like civilians running around all over the place. There's bad guys running around all over the place. But that was the same as it was in the last game. So, but it's cool because like you can play the way they want to try to force you into like the loot drop progression system bullshit of like Division 2, or you can play the regular way from Ghost Recon Wildlands now, which is thank fucking God. And in fact, they made it even more simian hardcore if you want to, like to the point where you have to collect like natural resources and refill your fucking canteen and drink water periodically and
little GTA San Andreas sprinkled in there.
Pump some iron and
So they, it's interesting because it's like two different games in one, and they have it somehow so that, which was nice because they kind of sort of explained it, was if like you do the Division 2 way and I do the other way, we can still play together, and your way will work for you and my way will work for me somehow. So they managed to sort that out, which is pretty nice.
I haven't even heard of that. That's fucking sweet.
Yeah, and apparently it has this like friend mode where, so say if Siege Andrew wants to jump on with us or my brother or whatever, he can download it and he can play online, provided that he's playing with like me or you or anybody who actually owns a copy of the game. So we can, yeah. So kind of cool.
Is that kind of like a way out had something similar where you could like play with a friend or something for free essentially?
Right. Yeah.
That's really cool.
So yeah, man. It's decent. It's so big, and there's just like, I thought the menus are ridiculous. Like last go around, it's now. So yeah.
Where does this one take place? I know the last one was
in a fictional archipelago. That's like somewhere near in the vicinity of New Zealand.
Okay.
So, but it's an entirely fictional island. So.
All right. How about you, Siege? What have you been doing?
So, I have been playing it's a little Crash Team Racing, kind of advancing the story mode, showing the kids that and whatnot. Not much in Crash Team, but then I finished and platinumed Ghost of Tsushima.
Nice.
So next week I will give.
Hey, I'll drink to that there.
Bro.
Cheers.
Next week I will get into trophy time on that game. I didn't have time to write down my thoughts on the trophies in that game just yet. And I apologize to all of our millions and millions of fans out there. We heard some feedback that we were getting a little too spoilery in some of our previous talkings on Ghost. So I don't want to get into too much of it, but I think we should have, once D beats the campaign, we sit down and do a full-on spoiler cast, because there is a lot to unpack in this game. A lot of character building.
That's true.
I don't want to spoil anything, but I think they do an amazing job with the character arcs. You have so many people that come into your life in the game, and they touch you in different ways, and it really evolves through gameplay. They do cutscenes and stuff too, but yeah, I'm excited to have this podcast with you guys, because once you finish it, I want to hear your thoughts on the ending. And
all right, well, I gotta get moving then.
let's get to cracking on that.
Yeah.
And then I have booted up and played Hitman 3.
Ooh,
so my Hitman 3
started it.
has commenced, and I have experienced the greatest travesty in the history of video games. The game I am most looking forward to playing this year, my most anticipated game of the year, Hitman 3. Very excited to play it. Very, very excited that it has a platinum. Started very attainable platinum. It's going to take you, so you have to get to level 20 master and some levels and whatnot. Booted the game up brought my file saves over. All of a sudden, trophies just started popping left and right from the previous. It's the DLC trophies. So from mine too. Very, very excited. And then I played through Dubai, the first level.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Did all of the story missions, and my trophy did not pop. Isaiah Thomas, I had done the requirements to get that trophy and was not selected. The trophy is glitched.
Oh no!
And so I was very upset. So I went on the forums, dug into it, and a lot of folks are having trophy problems, not just there, but in other levels as well.
Well, that's what you're gonna get when they do what they did.
Yeah, it has something to do with all three games being together.
No,
Probably.
No, I don't think so. I think it has something to do with always requiring to be connected to the server. So once in a while you'll be playing, and then all of a sudden you'll get booted off, and it will say reconnecting, and then you say reconnect, it will spin for a second and connect you back on. But people are thinking that could be part of the problem. But some of the trophies are glitched right now, so I had to. I was looking into what some fixes are. Some people said, delete your file, completely start over, and I'm like, I'm not that far into it right now. I'm just one level in, so it's definitely doable to do that. But I don't want to play through the entire game and then,
Yeah, what if this happens on the next level?
Dothmir, the Knives Out level, is another, kind of buggy level from trophy-wise from what I was reading. So I don't want to progress too far if I don't have to. So now I'm like itching to play this. I've got that. I've started scratching that itch of Hitman, and I don't want to play it. So I really want to get that damn platinum. So Hitman kind of had to put a hard stop on it, unfortunately. So now,
fuck, man,
I'm looking for my next itch. And so I was pretty sad about that.
Why don't you just delete it and reinstall? Delete your save files.
I can, and that's an option. It's not going to for sure fix it. But I don't want to, if it's not patched, I don't want to, I don't want to go until I read the patch notes that they've patched in the fix to these trophies.
Oh, right. Because, what if it happens the second time? Or what if it happens on the second or third level?
Yeah, and who knows, I know that, I know some trophies were glitched for Cyberpunk, and they just recently patched that, where it was attainable to get the platinum again. So I want to wait a little bit until I hear about, if they can come up with a patch for these trophy fixes. So that's on hold. And then the last game I've been playing is a little game called Hybroxia 2. And Hybroxia 2 is a game from this company called Lily Mo Games. It is a twin-stick, side-scrolling kind of space shooter, where you shoot this little kind of old-style game. But the reason I started playing it is because it's a game written in
Colin's Last Stand, right?
Colin's Last Stand. Yep, exactly. Yep. So he's one of the guys I listen to his podcast and whatnot. I enjoyed him over the years from Podcast Beyond to Kind of Funny to his own company now.
Cheers, Colin.
Yeah. So it's a fucking bitch hard at game though. So played it a little bit, booted it up, and kind of kicked it around a little bit. I played through and platinumed his first game. Now I'm playing through this one. So Hybroxia 2, $10 right now on the PSN. So yeah.
Nice.
D, what you been playing?
More Ghosts. I'm trying to catch up, so I'm almost done with the Act 2 side missions, and then about to get back in to the main story to get to the end part of that act to move forward. So
Attaboy.
hopefully we'll get there this week. That's what I'm hoping.
So I think you were spot on where 2, it kind of 1 is the longest act, and 2 is a little bit shorter, and then 3 is a little bit shorter. So you probably make some pretty good progress.
Nice.
Right.
And then we played Crash with Woodsy there. As always, a little Rocket League, and then we were digging into the old Destruction All Stars. So one of the free PS Plus games this month. So let's see. It's a pretty crazy game where it's a little Rocket League-y, except there's no ball, and instead you're trying to blow up the other guys, and you can jump out and take other people's cars, kinda, with a little mini game that involves hitting the button at the right time versus the person you're trying to steal the car from or blow the car up. Overall, it was pretty fun. It's another one that's different, right? I don't foresee me getting hooked on it. maybe they'll tune it and do some other things here since it's brand new, to make it a little more addictive. But I would have no problem with it being in the mix like a Fall Guys, where
Right.
2 or 3 rounds, and then I'd probably be good.
So I played it with Tyler and Ryan a bunch more on Saturday night, and we all kind of got into it. And I will say I like it. I actually kind of like it a lot. I think they could add some more, like they could add weapons to make it even more Twisted Metal-y, which would be pretty dope. And the one part I don't really like about it is like the running around on foot part. It just
And they do make it extended, like there's like little tokens or something you got to pick up.
right. It should be
on
easier
foot.
to get back into a car.
Do you get out of the car
Because-
once you blow up, or what's the?
Well, you can
So-
eject yourself. And
Yeah,
then
you can eject
There's
it.
like platforms you can jump up on and shit.
Yeah.
And then they'll have like little trinkets or like diamonds or something that are up there and they're pink, but you got to run
Yeah.
around and go grab them.
And there's some of the
hell's point
concepts of the
that,
game I
by
don't
the way?
understand yet. Like I don't
Okay.
get what the breaker is yet.
Do you know what those
Which-
pink diamonds are for? I never
Yeah.
quite figured that out.
They build the breaker and your little guy's special move while he's running around.
Oh.
But it's just. I mean, I like the game. I think that
Yeah.
part is the weakest part of it so
Yeah.
far, but it's good.
Would agree.
It's good. I think they'll work to improve it over time. Obviously, they have an immediate player base of 4-ish million people, so
Yeah. No. Yeah. Definitely
Yeah.
worth a look. So I would definitely hop into that. So.
Yeah.
This is your first ground up PS5 game, isn't it, D? Like, because I know
Yeah.
you've been playing a handful of games. How have you noticed anything different in playing? Because I know they have like the whole tile cards you can jump right in, and it probably boots a little bit faster than.
Yeah, it was booting a little faster, and that's really the only thing I've noticed. I was actually doing some reading for that subject, and I was starting to look at prices on shit because it turns out those ports on the back have that really weird USB designation. It's technically USB 3.2 2x2, so they're technically capable of 20 gig, and we did go over some maths on hard drives on a previous episode, but basically if you ended up with like 3 or 4 SSDs in a RAID set, you could get 20 gig. I was starting to look into that. So I was wondering what it'd be like to load your PS4 games like somewhere in the ballpark that the PS5 ones do. So I thought that would be pretty kick-ass. So, but still super expensive, like we covered on the show. It'd be like $500-600 to get, maybe 8 tera. Probably even closer to $700-800. So probably not worth it just yet. So
yeah,
all
they
right.
need to get on that though because they made it sound like they would be available readily after launch.
Yeah.
The Sony approved ones.
Yeah,
And-
I did double check on that too, and that is nowhere to be found yet. So
Right.
no word on the extra NVMe drive that you can pop in there. There's no approved list yet,
Right.
and it is odd. Now it's getting odd.
Yeah,
Again.
it's-
I was
I
expecting.
mean, we're 4 months into the new generation now.
Right, and there's plenty of
We're almost.
there's plenty of the new gen NVMe drives out from third parties. So
Yeah.
finding it real weird. Anyway, let's hop into the news. We started off with the one I was most excited about. So,
The shizzle.
oh my god. EA Sports finally took their head out of their own ass and announced that NCAA football is coming back. Because we all know what happened. So the players, very correctly, were pissed off that all these people were making tons of money from them. So then they sued. And-
Tons of more money.
yeah, correct.
Tons of
Tons
more.
more money off their likeness than they already make,
Right.
just by existing. And
Yeah.
my argument was eons ago, they could have literally just you hit the random generator, and you just keep your license for the likeness of the schools and the stadiums, and
Mhm.
you hit a button. There is no loading a roster. There's no downloading it. There's no nothing. It's you hit a button.
Right.
The prestiges are all random. Everything's random. and and they could have solved this shit 5 years ago. But true corporate fashion, here we are, getting all excited that it's coming back. So, Woods, you had a couple of years. Did they? I didn't notice if they had a year in there. I thought I heard it.
Well, they said it's a couple
22.
years away, so I'm assuming literally 2 years from now.
Okay.
But
I thought best case was like holiday next year.
they probably. I mean, who knows? I don't know.
It's EA. You really just need to do.
Repaint Madden.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Put
they
in the college
were
book.
separate. They were separate engines.
That's true.
I guess previously, which I was, I think, unaware of.
Because I super miss that game, being able to run the
Yeah.
option and shit. Because I enjoyed the NCAA engine far more than I did the Madden engine.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was just a lot better of a football game, period. So I hope that magic comes back.
I do too.
And it's interesting because they've also already given some details about what they are going to do with the rosters. And what may actually happen is now that there's kind of a growing push for the lines of amateurism and the likeness rights and all that sort of stuff to blur. So you might see it where individual players or agreements of players that are part of, like, I don't know, a larger collective bargaining, like, say, Big Ten Players Football Association or whatever, maybe. If that shit starts coming together, and then
Are they starting to talk about that?
yeah,
So
so
they also
they
came
said
out-
basically because that's just like, they're really focused on doing the engine and getting all the gameplay and all that sort of stuff right. But there is the potential for that stuff to just, through the
Okay,
actual
sure.
legal courts, backdoor its way in slowly but surely.
Good.
But it'll be interesting to see where they fall insofar as, so Alabama, they're going to get a majority of 5-star recruits. Is Alabama going to run, are their characters going to be similar to how they are in real life? Or how are they going to, what will be the loosely interpreted way that Alabama is Alabama? Which will be the interesting thing to see.
Right.
In the final product,
And if
unless
they-
that legal stuff works itself out.
Well, and honestly, with the rando gen button, if they keep that prestige system that they used to have, I could see it being super easy to tilt all those scales where all your 5-star schools get way more of the better people, and
Right.
the simulation
Well, one
be damn
one
near
of
what
the
it is.
one of the things that apparently probably is going to go away though is like the great customization of rosters and creative players and stuff,
What?
because that's how like people have been keeping the old games alive on PC and like the
Yeah,
Steam
you make a new
communities.
roster file and stuff. Yeah.
Yep, and you can just keep it going. And so they're probably going to have to take that out.
Oh,
But,
shitty.
So
Hey,
the-
do you want NCAA football or don't you want NCAA football?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The one thing that they came out and said that I thought was interesting was, it's not necessarily EA the one holding up this, paying players. It's the NCAA, and
Yeah.
they came out and said something. I think it says here in the story that that we'll keep tabs on everything as it develops, and everything being like an agreement with the players. And if and when that changes, we will be ready. So I guess they are ready to put likeness in there if possible. It's just a matter of NCAA allowing it. So
Yep. They gotta find the right
I guess
way
we'll
to
see
do
what
it.
happens in the next couple of years. Who knows if that could change? It's already starting to change, as you guys kind of alluded to earlier. So maybe we will be getting in the old, more realistic players and things.
Nice. All right. And then who had the Halo story? Looked like we have an unannounced Halo game in development.
I put them all in there, so just,
Okay.
yeah.
Yep. Go for it, Woods.
Unannounced Halo game. Nobody knows what it is. Apparently,
There were no
though,
details.
the only details were like a job listing, right, where it was a AAA Halo game set for this generation, but it wasn't Halo Infinite. So it's currently unannounced AAA Halo game, which probably means Halo 6.
It could. It's also possible that they'll go back to the well in the ODST or Reach bucket and then try and
The
tell
extended
a different
universe,
story.
right.
Yeah.
They could, They could, but I'd be shocked if they don't get if Halo 6 does not come on the Xbox this generation, the actual Halo 6. I think that'll be shocking.
Yeah,
That doesn't happen.
I think at some point, kind of like with GTA, right? We got to see the end of these 12-year cycles between pillars.
Yeah, but you're not going to make 5 games in a mainline story series and not at least finish up something. I don't know.
And then also with Halo is they're also kind of teasing the Master Chief Collection, which is those earlier Halo games, a new place to play. So a lot of people have been speculating like, well, do you think they might put them on PlayStation? Do you think they might put them on Switch? Rumors are unfortunate that it may be coming to the Epic Game Store, which is essentially playing on the PC anyway, which would be kind of a lame tease. But there's some hope out there for it going to the Switch. The Switch is obviously a vastly underpowered console, but it is running Hitman 3. It is running Control, which are some of these games that are streamable. So they're thinking maybe we will see some Halo across Nintendo.
What if? Just it's not going to happen, but in the 1% possibility that it could.
I mean, Microsoft Studios are publishing games to Sony, because of previous agreements and whatnot. Maybe some of these walls will start being broken down in the not so distant future.
That would be crazy. Every person have an Xbox console or doesn't have the Master Chief Collection would immediately snatch it up for their PlayStation, myself included.
Right.
And it's not like it's not worth for me buying the new console for, but if I could just get access to that software, for sure I'd buy that right away, and Microsoft would just immediately get like another probably couple $100 million from it, and just the sales alone, and then they could still keep Halo Infinite on their own thing. Maybe it'd be something to try to get, oh shit, everybody pump the action on the Halo, and then everybody's jonesing to get in on fucking Halo Infinite, and who knows?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know we've paused.
It's not going to happen. But fuck.
We've hit this around before, but what if they brought Game Pass, to PlayStation?
Yeah, or any of the other platforms. So there's a little leak in there that since Game Pass is rumored to go to iOS too. So
they found the hack or whatever to get around the having it be through an app or whatever. Yeah.
So and then we got a quick piece of news. On an earlier episode, we did cover the Kraken, which is the PS5 and one of their newer ways of doing compression on the files. And which game was this, Woods? Did you see? But it looks like we got about a 40% reduction.
Control Ultimate Edition for the next gen versions. So they've done, and it's another game that looks better, loads faster, plays better, all on the PS5.
Yeah. As they tune that compression thing, as we covered earlier,
it loads 42% faster on the PlayStation 5 than it does on the Xbox.
Yes, because it's small.
And there's kind of another hubbubaloo being made about this for Neo as well. So the Neo Remastered Collection, granted it's not on Xbox, but on PlayStation, because that game was like actually optimized for the PlayStation 5, like it loads in like a half of a second.
Wow.
Like, so
that's if you're running off of obviously the internal hard drive.
Yeah.
They had like the stat breakdowns where it's like there's something like 18 seconds on the external and 21 seconds on the PS4 Pro.
Right.
External being attached to your PlayStation 5, obviously.
Yeah.
So it goes to show you, if you can whittle some of these games onto your PlayStation storage space. We were just commenting earlier about how that storage space, we want more storage space and whatnot. But one of the kind of the hidden things of having these games compressed more is that Microsoft Xbox has that 1 terabyte drive and PlayStation's 827 or whatever it is. And Microsoft does have the expanded storage, which would be great. But PlayStation's games are all smaller on there, so it kind of gives you this kind of hidden extra storage space compared to get the same 10 games on your Xbox.
And this one guy came out with a good argument about so these games that get updated for the PlayStation 5, if they're not loading as fast as Neo and Spider-Man and so on and so forth are loading, the reason is because they weren't properly optimized for either the hard drive or to make use of the Kraken compression. And even better compression is coming for this system, which is crazy. So,
there's been big news in that too. I believe I read an article that the next gen in just even PC and encoding on regular video is coming out. It's like a 10x improvement over MPEG-4. So
nice.
all this stuff is getting real crazy on how many zeros they can take out of this shit.
Middle out, baby.
That's right.
Middle out.
I'm excited for you guys to hop on that Miles Morales. It is like magic. When you do a fast travel, and it's just literally him walking out of the subway. And Spider-Man. I know you guys both played Spider-Man, but you see Spider-Man riding the subway, and it's sitting there, and these funny little clips. But it's literally just like you click the fast travel point, the screen flashes real quick, and then it's him walking out the tunnel. That's why
that's awesome.
I've been kind of pushing for Ghosts. You've heard me wax poetic way too many times and hear about how amazing their fast travel system is. But if you could fast travel to a point, and all of a sudden it flashes, and all of a sudden you see Jin on his horse, across the map, it would. Oh, man.
Yeah, dude. Huge props out to that Ghost team on the fast travel.
Oh my goodness, best
Best
team.
one I've seen.
I gotta actually ask you real quick because I haven't asked you because I never played that game on PlayStation 4. So you have, and now you're playing it on the 5, obviously. How much better does it look on 5?
I believe it's more in that frame rate and smoothness and those kind of things. That is all way better. But even just graphically, it's not a shitload different.
I noticed,
Right.
But it is an improvement.
The frame rates make a huge difference.
Yeah, they do. So the experience is much better. But graphically, it's not,
Sure.
Yeah, like going to crazy higher resolutions or anything. But
Sure.
I'm sure again, they'll work on that though. Now that the PS5's out. So,
right.
Let's see. We had a Battlefield 6 announcement for this year, and one of the cool parts about that seemed to be that on all these maps, the environments are actually going to be destructible. So in the trailer that we saw, like the concrete wall you're crouching behind or the barricade is actually crumbling as bullets are getting fired into it, which is pretty fucking cool. Not gonna lie.
Well,
very cool.
And then now they're talking about matches that are potentially as large as 80 on 80 and stuff like this.
Huge team battles. That's gonna be awesome.
That would be super dope.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Right. So that would be like MAG all over again, which would be great. So I hope they can do that and pull it off, especially since they basically stopped supporting Battlefield 5 because just nobody gave a fuck. So,
True.
Oh man. All right, and then Woodsy, Embracer acquires Gearbox for $1.3 billion.
Yeah. So.
Or a couple trillion Dogecoin.
This is the second or third story we have about acquisitions this week. Trying to cut back into the story here. Sorry.
It involves THQ, Nordic, Saber Interactive.
Embracer includes THQ Nordic, Saber Interactive, Koch Media's, which is not affiliated with the Koch brothers. It's just Koch Media. But they are basically the corporate face of Deep Silver, which is a massive publisher. Deca Games, Amplifier, Game Invest, and Coffee Stain Holding, whatever the fuck that is. But yeah, so that's kind of a big grab for them. You know, Gearbox has made a lot of quality titles. Borderlands is sold like hotcakes. So I guess I don't know what all the properties Gearbox has under its wing, other than Borderlands off the top of my head. So I'm sure they have several others, because otherwise I don't know, they pay 1.3 just for Borderlands. But
yeah, that'd be a little bit much.
let me check on that real quick.
And then CJ, we got some Hitman 3 roadmap for February. What do we got there?
So yeah, it's kind of like they have Hitman has their whole featured contracts, you know, where you can go out, and I think Woodsy's kind of touched on in the past, but you can go into a map and you go to the mission, any one of the missions or whatever, and then you can pick any character you want, any character in the whole map to be your target, not just the targets that are, you know, your set game targets. And you can you know, choose how you want them to kill, if you want, what kind of outfit you want, how you want them to kill. You can set parameters and do multiple people and everything. So they're kind of doing this kind of reaching out to the community, and like gaming community, and having these kind of little various groups, like Kind of Funny and the group called MinMax, and which MinMax is MINNMAX, so it's a Minnesota-based group that used to be Game Informer. They kind of split off to do their own thing, you know, based out of Minneapolis. And getting these kind of groups together to put together these contracts and stuff. So it's just kind of a cool way. You know, Hitman always well supported, and they have their kind of roadmap where content is going to be dropping every week. You know, whether it's a featured contract or an elusive target. An elusive target's one of those, you know, you literally have one shot to kill this character. You know, they drop a character on the map and say, all right, here's your shot.
I've talked
and
about that before.
If you screw that up, the character gets away.
And you don't get another shot, right?
Right, exactly, yeah. Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, be careful with that. You really got to scout them out. You can't just have a fail and then you get another shot at them. It's a one-shot deal. So that they have their roadmap out for February. And that's also part of the reason why I'm kind of putting a hold on playing Hitman, because with this roadmap, the game will be constantly being updated and whatnot, which they would anyway. I just want to kind of wait and see this iron out. But yeah, it's kind of cool to see. Kind of funny, you know. They're part of the reasons why I got into podcasts and listen to all their content and whatnot. And I'm wearing their shirt right now, actually. So
nice.
A Superman Wiener Dog shirt.
Love it.
Yeah, so it's just kind of cool little Hitman roadmap coming out for this month.
All right, and then we have some bigger news from Sony in general. So Sony itself, and then From Software, actually entered into some sort of partnership, or they called it a capital alliance, where Sony actually got 2% ownership in Kadokawa.
Yeah, it's
so Kadokawa is the company behind like all the Soulsborne games, and it's weird because they actually were the ones who they gifted this ownership stake to Sony.
Well, they gifted. I didn't see that.
Yeah, Sony didn't buy it from them. So this is why it wasn't like. That's why it was phrased as enters into a capital alliance as opposed to Sony purchases X.
Yeah.
Take of
or was given hand jobs under the table or something.
They're right. So
weird. Sony
was gifted a 2% share as a partnership, and it sounds like from what I read that it's not probably going to lead to exclusivity, possibly exclusive content, probably most certainly exclusive launch windows for a couple of games, but also it seems like this larger entity has a whole bunch of other IP under its umbrella, and they're going to, I think, try to help use Sony as a springboard for some of that, whether it be various anime series, because Sony bought Crunchyroll and stuff, right? So it'd be interesting to see how that works, and maybe what other of their IP gets potentially developed into games. So it's an interesting partnership.
It is.
Sony Sony did have that kind. I think it might be more towards the anime side there. I think you kind of hit on that, Woodsy. But Sony does have Bloodborne, which came from from Soft, and they had Demon Souls. So they do have had some exclusivity rights in the past. So it's always one of those dream companies that Sony would just end up purchasing from software. But it's just good to see that them deepening that alliance with the parent companies.
Hmm. Yeah, and then we'll skip right over the other acquisition in order to keep them together. But EA went out and bought Glue Mobile for $2.1 billion.
Glue Mobile, huh?
Yeah, man, this shit is getting hot and heavy.
Oh, they apparently make a lot of really popular
Diner Dash,
mobile games, including
Disney
like
Sorcerer's
the
Arena, the WWE games. Is that the WWE 2K games?
no,
Those are
this is
different.
all just the mobile ones.
Okay. Oh, the WWE
Strictly
mobile
mobile.
games. Oh, okay. The Tap Sports, baseball.
Right.
Kim Kardashian's Hollywood game.
Well, you
200.
laugh, but I'm pretty sure the Kardashians one is actually their most lucrative.
It's
Of course
does
it
not
is.
surprise anyone.
Because they sell all the clothes or whatever else in there,
Right.
and people just buy it because,
Yeah, and your
Yeah.
butt implants and whatnot, right?
yeah, right.
Um,
You gotta lift that ass up, man.
So that's crazy. It seems. I mean, I know that mobile games print money in certain markets. I don't know how well they do in ours, but I know they're even bigger in China.
Oh,
So,
Hand over fist.
right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, don't know if I like EA having a handle on that though. It's those guys in their loot boxes and all that crap. that
They
were trying
already
to
have
do.
mobile games. It's just more mobile games.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
All right. Let's go back up here. Let's see. Then we had Silent Hill, supposedly teasing a new game, and then Konami went and asked for the article to be pulled down. Who knows about this one?
So what happened here was the composer of the music behind the Silent Hill series was talking to some publication in an interview where he talked about said offhandedly the next Silent Hill game, and then Konami was like shit and asked the publisher to pull the interview, and they did at the behest of Konami, but the cat's out of the bag, right? So everybody saw this. So it sounds like there's definitely one in the pipe. It's coming. They just haven't announced it, and they definitely wanted to announce it themselves. And I feel like tomorrow's the time now. I don't know, but yeah. So.
Oh, man.
It'll be interesting to see what Konami does, because they've been kind of out of the game developing and publishing game for a while now.
Right.
What was the last one? That Metal Gear Survive, I think. I don't know what else they've done.
They haven't done a lot.
People are kind of hoping that they farmed
there
it.
is the Metal Gear Solid remake is rumored, but who knows?
People have been kind of hoping that they farm some of these things out, to other people, because some of these beloved
get it moving.
IPs, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
All right, and then we got some Steam news. So Steam keeps breaking its own concurrent players record. So, do you remember what the number is on that? That's got to be a shitload of people.
I do not. It is a shitload of people, but I just really was. It's kind of cool that, in general, gaming is just growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Well,
the
especially
pandemic
now.
has something to do with it for sure. But Steam is already a behemoth, and they're just printing fucking money. And Gabe Newell's talking about neural implants and how the future of gaming is going to be great. Just because he's so rich now, he's completely disassociated himself with reality. So yeah, Steam. I know we don't talk about PC stuff, but a ton. But yeah, figure there's a couple Steam articles this week. The other of which is for this game called Valheim.
Yeah, it looked like about 150,000 concurrent players.
Yeah, for a game that's in early access.
Now
So
is that like Apex or Fortnite early access, where it's not actually early access, it's done, but they're doing some fuzzy legalese?
I don't actually know. Um, I don't know that aspect of it, but it's like a Viking survival game apparently.
Ooh.
And players get dropped in a procedurally generated world inspired by Norse mythology, where they must craft, build, sail, fight to survive, and PvE co-op available for up to 10 players. So apparently it's really taken everything by storm, and it's kind of like in a Legend of Zelda graphic stylized. So stylization. I'm making up words now. Um, but yeah, it looks kind of neat, and it'll be cool to see when that comes to console.
Yeah. And then, kind of in that same vein with concurrency, we had just a little blurb or a factoid on GTA 5 having sold 140 million copies. How insane is that? And I can remember when that shit dropped, and everyone needed to go get it too.
Right.
And then obviously it's been on 3. Was it 4 now? Is this the 4th? Was this the 3rd?
The third,
The third
technically they don't
gen
have this versions of, the PS5, Xbox One versions aren't technically out, but it has, it's playable, and they are going to be putting out a PlayStation 5, whatever,
Version.
GTA Online coming out, but it will
Right.
be the third one. So it started
Yeah.
off kind of at the tail end of the 360 and PS3 era.
Yeah.
And they had the big push for
It's just
the
nuts.
new generation ones, and 140 million copies, man.
That's insane. That's so many people playing GTA. Wow.
It's a lot.
buying
a lot.
at least,
That's
yeah.
nuts. And I have, let's see, getting towards the end here. So we have E3. It's still going to go on this year, but it's just going to be all digital, as with everything. Sad news, but kind of expected. There's not much they can do right now.
Well, they canceled it outright last year, and everybody was kind of telling them to fuck off before that. And it's kind of unknown if that's going to happen again. Yeah, they're going to hold it, but publishers who sign up for like the rights to be a part of it have to pay in a pretty substantial fee.
Right.
And
now that they're all on social media, they could just
Yeah,
basically
they're all doing their own
just,
thing sort of
yeah.
already.
They could all just have a big conference call and decide to just kind of live cast dropping their shit together and
Right.
E3 out.
Well,
Well,
that's
and the Game Awards and Jeff Keighley has kind of like filled that void a bit now.
Yeah, with
So
how that went last year.
Yeah.
He had the summer of gaming, and the feedback from a lot of the communities were, hey, this is great, and we love this, but let's try to condense it a little bit, and that's kind of what
Right.
E3 was good for. But this is kind of, I think E3 is kind of, the ESA is kind of grasping at straws to stay relevant here. I think people are going to be going to more of these self-published, or kind of pairing up with other groups and putting out their own content versus paying a ton of money
Right.
beyond
Just
kind
makes
of
a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got a quick one on Anthem, and then we'll circle back around to the Terraria here. So, kind of follow-up news. I know we talked about it last week too, but it's kind of Bethesda they announced officially, EA did, sorry, that they were going to be reviewing the progress on Anthem 2. I think didn't they call it Anthem Next in that article?
Anthem
also-
2.0, Anthem Next.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
but they're
like that.
trying. They haven't decided what they want to call it yet.
Right. But they're going to review where it's at, how far it needs to go, et cetera, and they're going to give it the old thumbs up, thumbs down on letting it live or letting it die. So we should have something for you next week here officially.
It sounds like it's going to be this week. It sounds, but from the what I think Jason Schreier reported was that it was going to be about there's only about 30 people working on that game right now. So
Yeah. So
for that big of a game.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I don't think he means like maintaining.
Well, that
it
30
or-
people to work on Anthem is a very small amount of people to work on any video game.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, just especially like a giant open world deal.
Right.
Because that map on there
So-
is huge.
So I think we know which direction that thumb is.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. I hope it's not. I hope it's not down. I still like Anthem. I'd like for it to make a comeback. Is it going to be worth EA's time to do so? Only if they really sink into it. But you have to want to develop and maintain a good live service game, and EA doesn't really.
I believe they technically
EA doesn't really have one.
Don't they technically have Apex? Isn't that their foray into that arena?
Yeah, I mean, Apex does come.
Would
from,
Apex be considered a live service game though? I don't think so.
Oh, you mean?
I don't think Fortnite
versus
is either.
like Battle Royale.
Right. So, like a live service game is like a Destiny or any MMO RPG,
Sure.
effectively, but also like
More on
the
the genre
Destinies
side.
and the Divisions of the world.
Yeah,
that
there's
sort of
events
thing.
going on. Yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
So
Yeah, no, I don't think they have one more in that vein.
right. So it would be interesting. I hope they do it. 'Cause I liked Anthem.
I like
Um,
I like Anthem too. I guess we'll see what the fates hold for it. But yeah, so another one of the stories that I didn't get to put down here, but I want to pick your guys' brains on a little bit is WB Games came out and announced that they obtained a patent for their Nemesis system.
oh yeah.
So
Heard about that.
That system, I haven't played any of the Shadow of Middle Earth, Shadow of War, or whatever games. I think I own both of them. I've gotten them for free or whatever. And plus, I've heard everyone just kind of wax poetic about how awesome that Nemesis system is. And now,
Could you describe what that is? Because I don't know.
did you play any of the Middle Earth games at all or no?
I played part of the first one. So what it is, it's almost like a dynamic and smartly integrated AI system within the enemy types that adds dynamically to within the narrative story. So, depending upon who you killed in that game, like he would have a series of dudes vying for his position within like the orc ranks, and you could like pit dudes against each other, and then you could have a dude that you're kind of constantly battling against that you haven't beaten, and so he's your nemesis in that sense, or so on. It was really cool and weird how they did it. I don't feel like I'm doing the best job at articulating it. But I think, the best way I can probably describe it is it's like it affects how enemy types interact with each other and interact with you, and dynamically changes depending upon how you play just within the organic world that they made for you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
I think that's one of the things that we haven't talked about a bunch. I think we've hit on it one or two times, but I really feel like that may end up being the defining characteristic of this next gen that we're now in, with the PS5 and the Xbox One X. Will be more of these games having that AI flavors in there to do things like that, because I think we just talked about that's one of the last week we were talking about how that could breathe some persistent life on something like a Hitman, where literally every time I go in, the first person I choose to interact with or do kill in a certain way, it spins the whole world in a different way based on what you've done. And when you start building those kind of smarts into these things, man, is that crazy. I'd love to see something like that in like a Destiny, or we were doing Division, right? The fucking grindy games. You imagine how much cooler the grindy games would be if they were different literally every time you were in it. The loot's the same or the objective's the same, but the dudes are different, and they die different, and the strategy is different, and like how much more fun would that be? Because I know that's where I got burnt out on Division and Destiny and those kind of games, and to a certain
Right.
extent.
I think it's definitely the way the route games are going to go. I think you're spot on there, D. They'll have all this more processing power and have the ability to integrate game AI and everything. But what scares me about this patent, I'm hoping we're not going to get that direction. I don't think we will. But this kind of does open the door a little bit for patenting certain things off of gameplay. So because the gameplay in the Middle Earth games, from what I understand, is more like Batman. So what if Arkham, patented their fighting style, or what if Assassin's Creed patented their climbing style, or Hitman patented their various game styles? So
I think the courts are pretty stringent about this, and I'm not too concerned because I think this was their fourth filing in our patent request that finally went through. So they have been trying and failing. So,
but it clearly went through, obviously. So it just. I hope we don't get to a point when certain publishers own the rights to, certain gameplay styles.
But as we just hit on today, like you give it a couple years, there's only going to be like 5 studios left. So
that's true.
We may not have to worry about it too much.
It's all going to be owned by Tencent anyway at some point, so that's not going to matter. Or THQ Nordic,
Right.
Well, there was one actually big piece of news I forgot. It was announced by Sony. And Valve, Steam, that Sony China has confirmed that it plans to officially launch the PlayStation 5 in mainland China during Q2 of this year. And so this will be like the PlayStation 4 was effectively banned in China, and they haven't been able to sell PlayStations in China since 2000. So the Nintendo Switch has been available in China, but not the PlayStation for a while now. And in addition, there's going to be a legitimate version of Valve now coming to China, as opposed to the only heavily restricted Chinese version of Valve that was existing. So it's interesting to see that the Chinese government is now, who's perpetually scared of Western influence, seems to be allowing it, to come into their country. So we'll see what happens.
That is odd. It's kind of a reversal for them. I'm kind of shocked.
Yeah. So especially given the crackdowns and everything that have been going on in Hong Kong.
Yeah. Yep.
It's interesting because now you're going to have, and it'll be good for Sony because Sony will have access to another billion people plus.
Yeah, so, that helps them out.
Yep.
Did you want to touch on the Terraria devs and the Google boycott?
The guy who was from Terraria was going to put it on Steam, but apparently he's been having some issues with Google about.
He got locked out of his Google
Steam.
account.
I meant Stadia, but
Stadia.
Yeah, and this game is on everything. Even on your phone, but they're gonna put it on Stadia, but apparently they locked him out of his Google account or claim he violated some TOS, and it's what the fuck is going on? So now he's just basically told Google to fuck off.
Pound sand.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Whatever.
Oh,
Stadia gonna Stadia.
All right. And so
I got one more thing, a little bit of homework for everyone out there. The Sony has given us finally their old year-end wrap-up. Some people got the emails.
We touched on this last week. That's right.
We were waiting for it. It finally dropped this past week. So, I have some very interesting stats I'll share with you here right now for mine. I haven't pulled up. And what I'd like you guys to do for your homework is reach out to us. Let us know kind of any odds and ends things, the kind of things that stuck out in your year-end play, anything you might think is wrong or kind of funny. But so for me, I had 860 hours played. Of that, 4%, 35 hours was played online, which goes to my solo gamer naming tag here. So I thought I was pretty happy with that. Maybe I'll try to get those numbers a little bit down for next year for online play. And I have one.
This motherfucker over here. Who's this man?
One stain on my PlayStation year-end wrap-up was my most played online game was
Fortnite.
Remnant
Remnant.
from the
Oh,
ashes.
no way. How did you
Yeah,
get more
baby.
hours on that
Yeah,
than
baby.
Fortnite? You were
I think
crushing
I don't know.
Fortnite.
That's why I'm not.
Oh, because you were
I
on
don't-
a bunch on Switch.
I played a bunch on
That's
Switch, but even
why.
then, like I have 9 hours of played of Remnant, which is about 10 hours,
man,
7.
I don't think their metrics are tracked very well at all. So I don't rely on those numbers whatsoever. I will see some people posting like their hours played, and it was like in the 6,000s. And I did the math on it, and that like equates to like over 270 days of gaming, like without sleeping or eating or shitting. Apparently,
Well, I mean,
like-
that's like with the console on, like away from me, they might just be on
right.
all the time.
So, but it's weird that it tracks like if I'm like in Rocket League at the main menu, and then I just fucking walk away from my console for 8 hours, don't turn my PlayStation off. That's me playing Rocket League. So they need to find a way
They
to
do.
more accurately track that.
Are you sure that it's not counting the idle time? Because I know the whole thing has the idle timer for turning your controllers off.
Well,
and-
it must be for maybe some games, and I don't. There's
it's
just
not
no way
consistent.
somebody was actually playing video games for more hours in the year than the average person sleeps in the year, and then also not doing anything else. So
Oh, man.
I just don't.
It's
I don't.
definitely not super accurate. But my highest played game was Neo 2 at 105 hours. So,
Oh wow.
that game took a long fucking time to platinum. But that gets to the point again. I don't think that was a full time playing it that much. I think it was probably, I booted up Neo and then I hopped into Netflix or something. Who knows what? But yeah. So 47 games played. Agent 47 over here.
Wow.
You reminded me of an article I also read about that popped 6 days ago. So Tencent has actually been sued by ByteDance, who evidently owns TikTok,
Uh-oh.
or something like that. Yeah, TikTok owner ByteDance sues Tencent in China for monopolistic something or other.
Uh-oh.
So it's interesting that people are now trying to take on Tencent over there in China. So
I guess we'll see where that goes. Yeah, so that's all I had. I want you guys to reach out and
Thank
just give me
you.
kind of little odds and stats that you guys have have found through your.
It's a great idea,
You're
Siege.
into wrap
I did it first. I did hashtag show us your stats.
what's your stats?
I like
You know,
that
there's
very
other,
suggestion.
and as we were talking about this last week, and I was waiting for the email. I went in some articles or down some forum threads about this, and there's other sites that actually track a lot of this data too that you could just log in. And so I think I posted one of them. I'll have to go back and look. There's a few that are pretty cool.
We hit on this last week, so if you guys want to see it, check out our Twitter. Whatever the hell link that is, Wood sent it to me, and it actually auto posts my activity to our Rockets Gaming Twitter once a night.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So just beware of that too. So if you link it up to your shit, mine, I literally did not tell it to do this. All of a sudden, I just saw our Rockets Gaming posted out tweets
You
about what I was
played
doing on
Destruction
PS5.
All-Stars.
Yeah. But Woods is absolutely right. So they do have some cool stats and stuff on their breakdown. So go ahead and check mine out. All right, Woods. Unless you want to blow some chalk out your butthole, when are you going to do some Crash Team Racing next?
Tonight, baby.
Oh, we're going to go right now.
What it do?
Literally,
baby?
everyone get over on the Twitchers, the Raw Cuts Gaming Twitchy channel. We're going to
Well,
go
we gotta
on
talk
there
about
right
the
now.
queue.
The
We gotta
who?
talk about the queue.
Oh,
Have you
you
bought
failed
some
the
of the games?
barbecue? Oh, great. You failed? Great. Then I have stuff to share too.
Yeah, so I have.
What you smoking?
I got
What you smoking?
What you
I got to do this the proper way here.
So you failed at some barbecue?
Well, I didn't fail at the barbecue. I failed at the actual barbecuing. I couldn't. There's something wrong with my. It wouldn't ignite. The flame wouldn't keep. So I
It
had
kept
all
going
this
out?
food. Yeah, kept going out, and I cleared out the ash box. I don't know what I got. I got to go in there and lift
you
out the
clean-
grates and vacuum and shit.
Yep. So when was the last time you did that?
A minute.
Like, yeah, you haven't stuck the vacuum like in there and gotten like the sludgy dust out of there. Okay.
Yeah, no, not in a minute.
So, just FYI, on the Camp Chef, when I've had the flameouts, I have had issues with it starting back up. I had to take the fucker half apart and then get out my MAP torch for soldering, and I blew it in there until the pellets ignited, and then it worked fine. So
wow.
I don't know what its deal is with reigniting after you've had a burnout, but it is a problem. But
Okay.
yeah, so yeah,
Well,
the shit went cold then.
Yeah. Well, no,
Yeah,
I didn't
it
put
was
it on.
-10.
I was waiting it to get up to temperature. So now I
Oh.
got a full rack of seasoned ribs just sitting in my fridge, waiting to get smoked. I got 3 pork chops that are all marinating in the great marinade I've had now, just sitting in the fridge. Several bratwursts waiting to go on, and some pork jerky that's also marinating. And you know, I got to get in there and clean this bitch out so I can put all
It's
this
not that
delicious
bad. You got a
meat.
shop vac, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's been negative $1 billion out. Didn't feel like standing outside for more than 10 seconds at a time.
Right. Yeah, it's been pretty cold here. Yeah, so I absolutely destroyed some wings and pork belly yesterday.
And
You
destroyed
destroyed
it in
the
not a good
pork
way,
belly
in a
too?
bad way.
Oh yeah, it was all burnt to fuck. So I don't know if it was because it was cold, and it kept like spiking the temperature in there or what. I followed this recipe pretty to the T. I chopped up the belly and I had it for 2 hours on the rack in there just smoking, and then you keep the temperature the same. You put it in the tinfoil pan with the sauce for another 2 hours, and then it's supposed to be fine.
Did you not have your probes in there?
But for cubes of pork belly?
Oh, you did a cube.
Yeah, I said to cube it because then you basically get bacon bites out
Right.
of there.
Shit.
Yeah, just completely, just all fucking ruined. So and it actually still, like, other than the burnt taste, it's like those burnt ends were like bomb as fuck. Like I'm actually semi glad that it worked out that way.
So
had
I
a
failed.
lot.
I failed completely. You failed somewhat. CJ, did you fail?
I did, yeah. So I was gonna make.
Oh
ribs.
no!
I was gonna
0 for
make.
3. We're 0 for 3.
Wow.
We're like the Packers at NFC
I know. I was
Championship.
just about to say.
I mean,
I know.
You got
I
that
was gonna.
Packer fever.
I was gonna make ribs for the game and wings for the game, and then
Yeah.
life got in the way of everything. So I decided to, call the alternate. I picked up a steak and some shrimp from the old Hy-Vee. So I called the audible. I'm like, I don't have time to make these ribs. I don't have time to make these chicken wingies. It's 5 o'clock. I'm gonna use the old cast iron to make my steak because it's too fucking cold outside for the grill, and I will make shrimp for Miriam in the skillet. Well, my failure wasn't on the cooking, but I have a shellfish allergy, and while I'm
oh yeah, that's
very,
right, dude. I forget about
very
yourself.
diligent about, I have a spatula for the shrimp to kind of toss it around and
Right.
the skillet and everything. Well, I
no.
made dinner, cooked it up and everything, and then so about ate dinner and was fine, and sat down to watch a game, and all of a sudden I'm like, I start rubbing my eyes, rub my eyes,
no.
I'm like, my eyes are itching. I'm like, doing this. I have to look over at Miriam, and I'm like, my eyes are like, woodsy after a freaking bachelor party, just like bloodshot to hell, but not in a good way. So, I looked like I was through hell. So like my eyes were swelling up really bad. So I ended up having to take some Claritin, and that cleared it up right away. But then that kind of, did my, not that the game was all that fun anyway, but no more boozing or anything like that while I was watching the game. No more food and anything like
Hate
that.
when
So
stuff
Hey,
ruins the drinking.
well, now that you got your shiny new professional position,
I bought a new desk too. That I did not feel.
What?
So
There's a
so right now,
no,
Yes.
I don't give a fuck about your desk. We need to up your grill game. We gotta get it. We gotta. It's
Smoker
time.
time. Smoker time.
It's time. Now
smoking?
is the time.
It is
It's
time.
like Kevin Green, the
Yeah,
late
dude,
great
they-
Kevin Green said,
I
"Now
actually,
is the
they're
time."
probably
is
not
time.
as schmancy as Woodsy in mine, but I've actually was reading decent things about just the Pit Boss brand from Menards even. Just
Really?
that
Well,
they're-
Okay.
Pit Boss, you get
that
Pit
they're
Boss
like
lot
half
places
as
now.
much. Yeah, they're just like half as much, but they just the reviews are all kind of in that 4 range where it's like, yeah, it kicks ass at what it does, but I wish I had some of these other things. But is that worth double the price of the grill?
Well, they're high end, but you got to be careful though, because the camp chefs of the world, they have one. Well, no, they have a lot of models, I should say,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, they got like 3 flavors.
yeah, but Pit Boss has a lot. So Pit Boss is like more premium tier
Yeah,
stuff.
I've seen a lot of like the random
That's
like
priced
football
similarly to
players.
Camp Chef.
Okay.
Some of it.
I've seen a lot of the random like football players from the Packers out there with their. I see a lot of guys. Those cholos have the Camp Chef ones and whatnot. And
Yeah, well,
Yeah. Can you
we're gonna make them an official sponsor.
Rockets Gaming.
Rockets
Yeah,
Gaming.
I did not take Camp Chef in the in my bacon photos from yesterday.
no, do not take Camp Chef. Take
Thanks,
take,
Camp Chef, you fucks.
take Pit Boss and those ones.
Right.
Oh man. All right. I think we're good. Let's go get on the Twitchers and play some Crash Team Racing. So join us out there on the Twitchers at Rockcuts Gaming. Also on the Twitter machine with the birdie at Rockcuts Gaming. If you want to see us on YouTube, also Rockcuts Gaming channel. If you'd like to send us some nudie pictures, please send those to rawcutsgaming@gmail.com.
Slide
Please no
them
wieners.
Raw Cuts Gaming DMs like all these other porn
Yeah.
bots like to do.
Soon
Hey,
as we-
just
as soon as we
come see
hire
what
some
all the
ladies,
fuss is
if they want
about.
to see that, that's cool. It's not a,
Come see what the fuss is about.
we just don't want it.
Oh god, the
Me personally, on Twitter, you can find me at the Naked Gamer 84, or maybe just Naked Gamer.
ooh.
Maybe.
Can you just take off your shirt and be Randy?
Oh yeah, cheeseburgers. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I could.
Just be Randy.
Hang
You're
on.
the Naked Gamer. Take it off. Come on, Randy.
Looking good.
Come
looking
on,
good.
Randy.
You're looking good there, good dad. Proud of you.
Oh man, and on Twitch, my username would be _Naked Gamer. On Twitter, I am Naked Gamer 84. Sorry for a little bit of confusion. I'm under the influence. CJ, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at CJ Rindo.
Woodsy, if anyone wanted to watch you do an upper decker, maybe an infomercial on that.
Google Aaron
Instructional
Woods Upper
video.
Decker.
Yeah.
It's what the seventh
Hey,
picture down.
Where can they
Google
do that
Images.
at?
If you want to see me do a little B&E or
Breaking and
light
entering?
kidnapping, you can find me at Woods_or_Wads of the Z.
All right,
I love you,
everybody.
Six. Good night, Canada.
Good night, everybody.
Like guys.
Recording stopped.